Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley Morris, the owner and lead tutor at amtutors.com, where we specialize in one-on-one virtual math tutoring for middle school and high school math students. And in today's video, we're going to talk about slopes and finding the slope from a line. Now bear with me a little bit. I am going to have to zoom in and out a lot because I really want to make sure we can count. And if it's too zoomed out, you really can't get an accurate count. So just bear with me on that. So slope. Slope talks about the steepness of a line, and we use the variable m. I don't know why we use variable m. Just go with it. And we talk about it like rise over run. So you're going to count up, and then you're going to count over. Up is positive, down is negative, right is positive, and then left is going to be negative. Another way you can think about this, let's see if I can write this where my head's not in the way. If my line goes uphill, that's going to be positive slope. If my line goes downhill, that's going to be negative slope. Not one, negative. If it's horizontal, the slope is 0. And if it's vertical, this is where it gets kind of tricky. We call that no slope, or we'll say m is undefined. I don't care which one you use, no slope or undefined slope, but some teachers are picky, so make sure you use the language that your teacher likes. And I would pause here and I would write down those pictures. If it's a negative slope, how it goes downhill and all that. Because typically when I'm counting, I don't worry about positive and negative. I throw that in at the end just by looking at it. All right. So here's our first one. We're going to find the slope. Let's get a good color. M equals. Now I drew these not a computer, so my dots may be a little bit off, my lines may be a little bit off, but the dots are correct. The lines might be a little bit off, but the dots are correct. So we're going to go through the dots. If these lines were picture perfect because a computer drew them, always look for the crosshairs, okay? Where do the vertical and horizontal grid lines meet? That's where you want to count from. So I put my dots on those spots. And we're going to count up, rise 2, and run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we run 5. So 2 over 5. This is going uphill. It's positive. Leave them as fractions. Don't turn them to decimals. And leave them as improper fractions. Sometimes the number on top is bigger. That's okay. They can be whole numbers and they can be improper fractions. Do not make mixed numbers for slope. Got it? Okay. Next. So with this one, you can do either starting point. Again, just look for where the grid line crosses. Makes a nice little cross. And then we're going to count up first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to go over to the left 1. So I know this is going to be a negative because it goes downhill, but also my 1 is a negative because it went left. So this is going to be negative 7. And if you want to go from the other direction, like start from the point on top, you can totally do that. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So down 7 is negative 7. And over to the right 1 would be positive 1. So we get negative 7 that way too. And if this line continued, I didn't draw it long enough, you could keep going. You could count down 7 and over 1, down 7 over 1, and keep going. The slope never changes on a line, ever. So it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick, you will always get the same slope. Where's number 3? There it is. Okay. So let's count rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and then run 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes it gets tricky counting. And I know this is a negative because it goes downhill, and we're always going to reduce. And when I was saying about how the slope never changes, let's see if I drew this line really well. Let's see. Let's start from here. So negative slope means I can go down and right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So the slope never changed. I could also go up. 1, 2, and left. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And as long as I'm counting carefully, the slope never changes. You always end up back on your line. Now what about this one? Vertical line. If you memorize it, just go for it. No slope, or you can say undefined. If we want to count, you can see I already put some dots on there to help us. We go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we went over 0. This is no. You are not allowed to divide by 0. 0 on the bottom automatically tells you undefined. no slope. You can never, ever divide by 0. Work with me, computer. There we go. Okay. Now, horizontal line, you can memorize slope equals 0. Or let's count. I went up 0 and then I went over like 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter how many you go over. This is okay. This is okay. It's just 0. I went up 0 and over 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. Doesn't matter how many over you go. You went up 0, so your slope is 0. Now you try. I can only put one on here at a time, so we'll just do one at a time and just keep pausing. Horizontal slope, m equals 0. Again, we went up 0 and then over like 2 or 3 or negative 2, whatever. Here, pause. My slope is going to be a negative number, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I went down 7. That would be a negative 7, and right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right 7, so that's going to give me a negative 1 once I reduce and all that. Whole numbers are fine. Just no positive, negative whole numbers, totally fine. 0 is fine. No fractions that can be reduced, and no mixed numbers. Leave them improper. All right, vertical line. Slope is going to be undefined. You can also say no slope. That's fine too. If you need to count, I went rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and I ran 0. That's a no. Can't do it. 0 on the bottom. Where's this one? Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. All right, pause. So you can try that one. Let's count up. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and over 7. Positive slope, it goes uphill. So 2 over 7. And if I did this really well, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it gets back on the line. But again, my lines are not perfect because I drew them, but if a computer drew them or you are super duper careful, it's hard to do it on a computer by hand, but it should always go up 2 over 7, up 2 over 7. Every time you do that, you'll end up back on the line. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you need more practice, check out the link in my description on YouTube. For the link, it goes to a practice worksheet. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, it's in my bio. And I hope you like and subscribe and follow and ring the bell and all those fun things so that you can come back when there are more videos posted. Have a great day. Bye.